Welcome back. We are here with the amazing radio personality, Arlette Davis. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you for having me, Nikki.
You look lovely.
Thank you, so do you.
Thank you so much. I try. We mothers, we try to keep up.
You heard me.
Try to keep it up. So, you're a fascinating person. I met you not too long ago, but I feel like a kindred spirit, when I met you, and I thought there was a lot we connected with right away. And one of the things that resonated with me was that you have a very interesting story in terms of what led you to where you are now, your humble beginnings, like many of us have. Can you share a little bit about that, and we'll talk about all your amazing accomplishments now?
Sure. I want to say starting from the bottom, but I wasn't technically at the bottom. But I mean, I was a single mother with 2 boys, and at the time that I became single, my children were infants. And being that they're only 16 months old, you can imagine what that was like for me. Right? And going through college, having these 2 little babies, and now managing everything on your own.
So you went to college and had the 2 babies. Did you have any support, like your parents helping you, any outside help?
Well, not really, because I was that type of person that didn't want anyone to know I was going through it.
Really?
Yeah.
So you did it all on your own?
I did it on my own.
Wow. And how did that translate to where it is now? Like, you must have learned so much from that, from the strength, from that whole situation.
Well, what I can tell you is that children are very motivating. If I wasn't doing it for myself, I was certainly doing it for my kids. When I looked at them, they couldn't help themselves. They couldn't bathe themselves. They couldn't feed themselves. They couldn't do anything for themselves. It was me. So that was my motivating factor, and still is today. When I feel like giving up, like my kids are watching me, and I need to keep pushing forward and keep moving forward. So
they're the driving force behind what you do.
Well, I don't know if they're entirely the driving force, but in the infancy stages of my life, they were certainly the driving force for me.
So you're on Whistle Radio.
I am. 102.7 FM in Stouffville, Ontario.
And how long have you been on the radio now?
Well, it's interesting, it hasn't even been a year.
Actually, no.
I started in November, and even that itself is a story, because I never thought radio. I never considered radio. It wasn't something that I ever had on the forefront of my mind. So the fact that I'm a radio personality and doing well at it is just astonishing.
That's amazing. So you just stumbled.
Well, what happened was there was someone whose mother had passed away. And just being the person that I am, I was trying to comfort him and talk to him and encourage him. And someone was eavesdropping and said, "Did you not tell me on a radio show?" Are you kidding me? Like, what are you talking about? And it was real. And just from that, they liked how I was talking to the person, how I connected with them. He said I have a kindred spirit. I get that everywhere. People always gravitate to me. Right. So I'm working with it now because it's working well for me. Mm-hmm. And from that experience was birthed Women of Influence, my radio program.
So what is the platform of your show, Women of Influence?
Women of Influence is just that. It's a show where women in the community gives them a platform to showcase their skills, their abilities, what they're doing to positively impact other people. Because there's so much that so many do, and we don't know about it because it's behind the scenes or they're not famous. So I just wanted to give the everyday person a platform where they could say, this is what I've been doing, and I'm not doing it for fame or fortune, but acknowledgement helps, and it's encouraging when people acknowledge when you're doing a good job.
And we need more encouragers.
We do.
In society, definitely.
We definitely do.
Yeah, I totally believe in the power of numbers and collaboration, the spirit of collaboration against, competition.
Absolutely.
And I think, naturally as women, we tend to be socialized to compete against one another. So when you have someone like yourself, you're pro-woman, and I'm the same.
Yes.
It's a beautiful thing when we get together.
It's a beautiful thing.
To empower each other.
To empower each other. And I don't want anyone to have the misconception that, pro-women, negative men.
No, not
it's
at all.
nothing like that.
Like
I love my men. We're not against men
not
whatsoever. We love you. But, you know, we want to build each other up.
Yes.
And I'm like that. If I can help you do something or get to where you need to be, I'm going to do that.
Sure.
And, you know, what do they call it? The karma, or what you reap is what you sow. It's so true, because although I may not be able to help you, I could refer you on to someone that can, and that just reflects and comes right back around. And it makes you feel good, and you connect with the right people. So
That's fantastic.
networking.
I want to congratulate you on your recent nomination. You won media
Yes, I'm
award.
the first
Women on Fire Media Award.
the first recipient of the Women on Fire Media Award. So I am. Thank you.
When is the gala?
The gala is actually this Sunday.
Sunday.
This Sunday. And again, that was another thing that I was like, what? You know, I thought it was just a nomination and I was just going to go and mingle and meet. And when they called my name, I just stood there. I didn't get up right away. I was, huh?
Yeah.
You know, I was beside myself. But it just helps, and it just reinforces that I'm on the right path.
Absolutely.
Because you find that when you've aligned yourself the right way, that the doors are opening, things that you never considered before are happening and being placed in front of you, like radio, now media, who knows where it's going to extend to.
No, I can completely relate, because I started off as a teacher, and now I'm doing this, but this has become my classroom. So once you step into your place of authenticity, everything just aligns itself. Just like
Exactly.
you said. And now, when is your radio show on?
My radio show is on every second Monday on Whistle Radio, so that's 102.7 FM in Stouffville. I also live stream the podcast through my website, which is lovingmetoday.com. So if you miss it, you can always go onto my website and listen to the podcast.
And I am honored to be one of your guests on the show
Yes,
coming up.
Nikki will be my guest. I'm looking forward to having you, Nikki.
That's going to be great. All right, and again, your website?
lovingmetoday.com.
Arlette, it's been a pleasure.
Thank
and congratulations
you.
again.
Thank you.
And we're back with the author of Finding Yourself Culture and good friend of mine, third timer, Victoria Lorient-Faibish. Here for the third time. Love it. And always love having you back.
Thank you. I love it. I love being here. A lot of fun.
I like the turquoise you're wearing.
We're doing blues today.
We're doing blues. It's all about the blues. And you were in Mexico.
I was.
How was that?
Tulum. Oh my
Tulum?
gosh! If you want the white sand and the blue-green water, go to Tulum, the Mayan Riviera, the ruins. I did a lot of meditating.
Yeah. And they have turquoise there. Is that right?
Turquesa, lots of beautiful
Turquesa?
turquesa. Yes.
Did you bring some back?
You know, I have so much turquesa. To be honest with you, I have a lot of turquoise stones. So I said, you know, it's all good.
Yeah, there's some healing properties in turquoise. No?
It's all about the voice. It's all about communication.
Okay.
That's why I bring these type of colors when I speak on shows, just because it's all about bringing out, you know, communicative powers.
Okay. Well, let's
Speak
communicate.
your truth. Let's communicate.
Let's
Speak our
communicate.
truth. Yes.
I have some questions for you.
About dating.
About dating. Yeah.
Yes.
Now, you have a background in relationship.
Yeah. As a psychotherapist,
as
I
a
do a lot of
psychotherapist.
counseling for couples and people going through dating issues and people experiencing strife in their relationships. And I talk about, you know, what is a long-term, passionate, healthy relationship, dating rules, why do we experience jealousy, what the heck is codependency?
Yeah. So let's get to it.
Yes. What do you want to know?
I want to know, what are the rules in dating?
Okay. So
Especially like, you know, someone, you know, in my age bracket.
Yeah.
If you're divorced and you're back out there, you know, the rules change all the time. So what
well,
is
the
it?
rules are for adults. I mean, if you're a kid dating, it's another ball game because you really don't know yourself when you're a kid. But if you're an adult, the rules are pretty well the same. You know, 23 plus and gone up. And what I have to say to people is, if you're going to create physical intimacy in a relationship before you have emotional intimacy, you're making a mistake, because the physical intimacy is going to bring on this pernicious, sneaky little hormone called oxytocin. And oxytocin is the nesting hormone. And if you're having sex and cuddling, you're going to be emitting that hormone, that oxytocin, and you're going to want to nest with whomever you're doing that with.
And you could be nesting with the wrong guy.
You're nesting with the wrong person. I call it the love drug. It makes you blind. It makes you not really see who you're nesting with. So I have to say to people, I like the 5 to 6, 7 date rule. Am I doing that? But no, I'm not doing all the, is my mic okay? The 5, 6, 7 date rule before you get into the sex of it.
Okay.
Because you want to create emotional intimacy, getting to know if this person has got a million red flags, and all of a sudden you're like all crazy for them and wanting to marry them and nest with them, and they're all wrong. And they're full of debt,
flashing,
full of
stop,
problems.
slow down,
yeah,
slow
and they've got they have 4 marriages and 10 kids.
So what are some of the rules?
So, number 1, try not to have sex before 5, 6 dates. Get to know the person, get to know who they are. Okay.
So like a 90-day probation period.
I like a 2 to 3 month thing. I know it's rather old-fashioned, but you know what? Value thyself.
Okay.
Value thyself.
Gotcha.
Exactly. And a number 2 rule is, when people start dating and creating a relationship, here's something: don't make your life their life.
Okay.
Have space. The ideal healthy relationship is 2 people with independent lives, and then they come together, and then they have an independent life, and then they come together, and they have an independent life, and then they come together. I mean, I'm in a 22-year marriage. The reality is that, thank you. I mean, it's not easy, but the reality of what makes a marriage long-term, passionate relationship, number 1 thing, have your own life. Have the discipline of your own life. So that's really huge, I would say.
So hold off on sex.
And have your own life.
And
don't make their life your life.
Okay.
Create space.
Okay.
And don't talk every day in dating.
Really?
No.
See, I'm a touch baser. I want to talk every day.
Because
I want to know what you're doing.
that's called insecurity.
Is it?
Yes. I really feel that people who text every day, talk every day, are not having a sense of grounded security within themselves. Give it a day off.
I was thinking it was great communication and connecting.
No, I think it's too much communication.
It's too much. Okay.
I think have good quality communication, not good quantity communication.
Okay.
Especially when you're first starting to establish a bit of a rhythm with people. I'm not a fan of talking every day with the person you're dating.
Okay.
I say, I tell people, 2 to 3 days a week you're communicating. Maybe you're seeing each other once a week, maybe twice a week, but you're not doing it daily. It becomes too much.
Okay.
And they lose their own life. Don't lose your own life. Don't make their life your life.
Okay.
That's a massive, massive rule in healthy dating.
What else should we know? What other rules?
Well, jealousy. People talk a lot about they're jealous, and and there's only one thing I want to say about jealousy.
Okay.
If you don't fill your own self, if you don't fill your own cup first, if you don't love yourself, chances are you are going to feel jealous of your partner.
And can you define what jealousy is in terms of dating?
Well, like, for example, case study A. She's having a nice relationship with someone, having a nice dating experience, and she comes into the office, and there's a paranoia about that other person.
Okay.
What is he doing? Who is he talking to? Talking to a woman, that's a problem. And, what this person was looking for was for me to go, yeah, you got to leave this guy. No. The first thing I want to say is, what are you doing for yourself? Jealousy is usually a sign that you're not taking care of your own self.
Okay.
And you're not. I asked her, so what have you stopped doing? She stopped working out, she stopped looking after herself, she stopped doing the things that normally, she would be doing in her life.
Right.
It was all about him. And then when he has female friends, so what? Why is that a problem?
So
it's only a problem if she's not feeling good about herself.
She shifted her priorities to make him
the main priority.
Yeah.
And you do need to prioritize your partner. It is important, but let me just say that interdependence versus codependence. Okay, so interdependence is healthy. To be only independence oriented when you're in a relationship isn't good either. You need to be considering your partner. But codependency is the unhealthy version of the dependency. So codependency is where your self-esteem rises and falls based on the other person.
Right.
Where your sense of who you are and who you're not depends on what they said to you. Did they affirm you? Did they not affirm you? Looking for a sense of self from the externals.
Okay.
Looking for a sense of who you are from the other person's opinion.
Gotcha.
That other person's opinion ought to not be the thing that defines you. So interdependence versus codependence.
So codependency, it's a lot of validation based on what the partner. Exactly,
and it can be very addictive.
Okay.
Also operating from guilt, operating from a sense of and often, let me just say this: people become codependent often because the family culture was all about I can only be okay if, let's say, my mother is okay.
Right.
I can only be okay if my father is happy. So there's a training of the kid.
To learn behavior.
Exactly. It's a learned behavior that the kid is not allowed to really empower themselves. They have to be always in function of somebody else. And when you're always living in function of somebody else, you're going to take that into your adult life.
Absolutely.
And then in your relationship, you don't know who you are. You don't know who your voice is, what it is that you want, what it is that you need. And that is the most important thing when you're in healthy, long-term, passionate relationships. Know yourself, love yourself, give to yourself.
Right, right.
Not in a narcissistic way, let me just say. This is all in a bid to help the others. You have to help yourself first, and then you can help the relationship, and then you can help the world.
Right, so fill your cup first.
That's right.
Whatever trickles over, that's what you give away.
Exactly.
Okay. I learned that from you.
Yeah, good. And you can create a good overflow. Like you can fill yourself full and create a really good overflow and give to other people from that overflow.
Fantastic.
Right?
Yeah, is jealousy, a little bit of jealousy good in a relationship?
Well, what you're saying is that kind of healthy, like, he's my man, she's my girl,
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
Don't touch the goods. You can
Yeah,
look, but don't touch.
Exactly.
Okay.
But everything that is good in small quantity can become pathological in large quantity.
Gotcha.
So you can have a little bit of healthy protection of your partner. That's beautiful, that's lovely, that's sexy. But don't overly possess, because that's a turnoff. Nobody wants to be overly controlled or possessed. It doesn't work.
No good.
No matter what people say, it does not work.
It does not work. Is it okay to snoop into your partner's, cell phone or look at what's going on?
Okay,
Facebook, go through their walls and see what's happening.
Here's the thing. When I work with couples, one of the first things I ask is, do you have a password? Folks, do you have passwords? And if they say yes, I'm like, let the passwords go, or tell the other person what the password is.
Okay.
Because why are you hiding stuff?
Gotcha. So being transparent.
Be transparent. And so if somebody says to me, yeah, I have passwords and I don't want anybody in my BlackBerry, I find that troublesome. So I'm a big fan of people knowing each other, especially if it's a committed relationship, If it's a committed relationship, if it's just a quick dating relationship, no, you're not going to reveal your passwords. But if you're in like a committed relationship, absolutely you must reveal your passwords. And if people are holding their cards too close with that, I would be a bit suspicious for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you attract the ideal mate?
That's an excellent question. So Nikki, you know the answer to that. You know it.
I do?
You do.
I'm asking.
Because you're this, no, I know, but you're this like, you know what it is? I tell people, do an exercise. Before you walk into a room, say things like, I am beautiful and everyone thinks I'm beautiful. I am lovable and everyone thinks I'm lovable. Kind of cheesy, but it really works. You set up a vibration of self-love and self-confidence. So I am beautiful. Everybody, I am beautiful and everyone thinks I'm beautiful. Everybody.
I am beautiful and everyone thinks I'm beautiful.
I am lovable and everyone loves me.
I am lovable and everyone loves me.
And just, I love me. I love me.
I love me.
Yeah,
I love me.
Not in a narcissistic way, but in a self-compassionate, self-acknowledging way. I repeat, not narcissism, self-compassion, self-acknowledgement. That is a very big difference, and that I believe is how you attract the perfect, or at least a suitable mate, someone who is going to treat you in that way. Because if you're coming into a room with a lot of self-doubt, and I'm not good enough, and I'm fat or whatever,
pick that up.
They totally do. It arrives 10 minutes before you. All of that arrives 10 minutes before you into a room.
Yeah. So I'm a queen, and I need a king.
Beautiful, and you really are a queen, my love.
We all are.
You really are.
Kings and queens.
Yes,
We're royalty.
absolutely. And don't, people say, if someone treats you poorly, don't allow it. Don't teach people how to treat you poorly. Teach people how to treat you nicely and with respect, and that is so important. If you let them get away with treating you badly, it's going to be a bad habit. I promise you that. So
you got to check that right away.
Right away.
Right away. It's always amazing talking to you.
Oh, good.
I've learned so much.
Oh, good.
And we could go on and talk.
Yeah.
So that will happen again. You're coming back on the show.
I'm coming back on the show.
Fantastic.
I love being here.
Oh, I love having you here. And where can people find you?
So on my website, self-culture.com, visualizationworks.com, on Twitter @selfculturenow, and on Facebook, Victoria Lorient-Faibish, or Find Your Self Culture. All of that.
Fantastic book.
Here's my book. find your self-culture, moving from depression and anxiety to monumental self-acceptance.
I learned so much from it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nikki.
You're welcome.
Blessings.
We'll be right back with some entertainment. At the Hard Rock Cafe is the motivational leader, transformational gentleman, Deepak Machanda. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Honored to have you here. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Nikki, for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Now, when did you start getting the nickname the Stress Buster?
Nikki, I think we evolve continuously. 5,000 years back, it was Egyptian civilization. 2,000 years back, it was Christ time, Greek philosophers. 300 years back, it was Renaissance. 100 years back, it was women liberalization. 50 years back, about more than 20 countries were liberated all over the world. And I realized about 10 years back, somehow, we all got trapped into our lifestyle where we felt stressed. I saw a lot of people from 2005 onwards just shattering and just, and I felt like there is a room for me to introduce my Eastern values so that people could be empowered and understand that this life is beautiful, but one has to make it, and make it with our own ability and motivation. And I thought, like, this is the best way to help the humanity at this point of time, to liberate them from the stress level they are going through.
Yes.
And I felt, because of my travel all over the world, because of my learning, I had certain tools, and I started figuring out that how easily we could just go inside ourselves and find out the answers to make our life more beautiful. So that's what I'm doing now. So I figured out.
And people are more stressed out. Yeah, you can
Yes.
give them a clap for that. That was beautiful. People are more stressed out now more than ever.
Yes.
Would you say that?
Yes.
And well, I have a little bit of background in wellness principles and understanding the anatomy of stress.
Yeah.
When you react to stress, your body prepares itself for a flight or fight response, and the adrenaline hormone is released into your body, but it doesn't know what it is that you're preparing yourself for. It could be a spider on the floor, or it could be a car accident. It prepares the body the same way. So you're dumping all this adrenaline into your body, and it can cause a little bit of havoc to your health. So
I realized
you're
that there
coming
was,
in and you're introducing some wonderful things to prevent all that.
I just realized, Nikki, that there is an emptiness rather than anything else which we are creating over the time. We were living in joint families, bigger families, and all of a sudden our lifestyle has changed. We are nuclear family. There's no better sense of a higher consciousness, or the name of God is also being eliminated in the last few years. It has been taboo to talk about that. And I thought that was one name, you call it as a universe, which was creating a harmony in ourselves. And since the absence of that has brought us to such a state today that morally, principally, we have compromised a little, and that is probably the reason for our stress. The guidance, the absence of that guidance, the elderly guidance, that absence has made us very, very stressed. I believe there was a time when people used to say that if you have the hand with the wrinkles in your in your home, you never get wrinkles on your forehead because there is someone who could protect and take care.
Right.
But the kind of lifestyle we have today, we do not have that elderly person.
Okay.
And we are just lost. We are just finding our own answers. And probably in terms of looking for success even, which we are redefining, because success 50 years was not exactly the way it is today. We are living in a culture where everybody wants to become rich without considering even what is their self-ability. And
the cost.
And the cost.
To become successful.
Exactly. And that has caused actually that comparison or comparative thing which has emerged in us, has caused us to live the way we are living. And I'm just finding that there are ways, I still have a hope, that there are ways you could be stressless, or you could remove this stress aspect from your life very easily.
So let's talk about the importance of injecting spirituality back in our lives.
Sure, spirituality, since people have figured out that the happiness which they normally get is if they wear nice, if they see nice, if they eat nice, that's the happiness. But in reality, it is our spirit which need to be happy. I've seen people who do not work for their five senses to be happy. They just want to help others by making their heart happy. There are certain people who just come up with their inventions, making their mind happy that, okay, something has come from, it has nothing to do how we eat or what we are eating. But there are certain things who want to make their spirit happy. And the only way you could make your spirit happy is if you are content, if you have understood the meaning of your life, if you could control your anger, ego, pride, and if you could be a little content in what you are doing and what you are wishing for. And in case if you do that, I believe your spirit becomes very, very happy, and then you could achieve anything in life. Anything in
So
life.
in the pursuit of happiness, you're saying spirituality is very important.
Very important.
Is there anything else that we need to have to keep a balance of happiness going in our lives?
You see, normally when I meet people, especially the entrepreneurs I'm working with, and mostly we all are going through some kind of a stress, whether it is physical, mental, and emotional.
Stress will never be out of our life. It's always going to be there. Yeah.
Stress will be there in case if we are trying to push ourselves for something which we are not capable. If the way we are right now, I meet all of, like, I'm considering at this point of a time in my life, I'm meeting those people who are like me, like you, like who are just motivated, self-motivated, and they know at their limitation, they know what they could achieve in their life, and they're never stressful. They wake up every day, it's a great day, and they finish their day with thank you that, yeah, this was an amazing day. So I do not call success and happiness as one constant. I consider this as a continuous journey. It's just like, it is very personal, subjective, and temporary. And in case if we understand that, we could work every day to achieve that success or happiness which we have defined, and move on in our life in a better way.
So very simply, just keep repeating your soul.
Yeah.
In ways
Asking.
that make you
Exactly,
content.
exactly. I'm introducing meditation in everybody's life. I'm suggesting everybody that whatever your age is, let's say if you're 30 years old, you should at least spend 30 minutes on yourself, because every day, because meditation gives you power of intuitions, so that you could take better, you have the better choices with you. And we have understood in this life that it is our choices and the conscious decision which are putting us into any state.
Right.
So in case if we meditate, we have more than one possible solution for ourselves. That makes us intelligent in terms of comparing our decisions. And when we know it that there are two options or three options, so we could take one option which is the best option, which could give us the best results without making us stressful.
Fantastic. Now, you are also the leader, the host of Mo Mondays Brampton. Can you talk about what that is?
Mo Mondays was the concept, which is a community. And I live in Stouffville, but most of the Indians...
That's
yeah.
correct.
So most of the Indians are living in Brampton, and I realized that there is something which is missing in the community.
Yes.
And I wanted to bring Mo Mondays, rather than, I could have run it in Stouffville or Richmond Hill, which is probably closer to my place, but I took it all the way to Brampton. I travel every day 82 kilometers just one way.
Right.
And wanted to, just share this concept to the community that we could choose, because Mo Monday has given us the speakers, which have been through a bad time, and emerged as a new personalities, which could be motivation. So it is not only me. I brought, actually every month I'm bringing about 6 speakers in my community, giving them an opportunity to understand that everybody is same. We have 206 to 210 bones. We have the emotional and exactly the same emotional intelligence. We feel good and bad about certain things. And I believe that this platform will definitely give my community a reason to go beyond what they have declared as a success and happiness. It will definitely create some kind of impact.
Fantastic. And people need that. They need to relate to one another. Because I find in the busyness and the grandness of the city, there are many disconnected individuals who feel that they're alone in whatever the struggles they have. But to have Mo Mondays, I think is a wonderful thing.
It is greatly helping.
And I'm very happy to have been one of your panel speakers.
Thank you very much, I know. And I will, please.
Sorry?
No, it's all well. Yeah, I was very happy. The day you came, in fact, if you remember, it was my utmost wish to get the people who have been successful, in their in their careers and field. And in case if they could share themselves the stories rather than me telling that I have been to Mo Mondays and these are the stories I learned. These are the real people. They have the real inspirational stories. So why don't you listen to them? And this has given us a great result. When you came, it was one of the best shows. So thank you very much for being my show.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. But there's something very liberating too about sharing your story.
Yes.
It's a release. It's
Yes.
very cathartic, and you release it, you feel lighter, and you're able to send it out to someone who can connect with that story. So it's a wonderful thing that you're doing. Thank you very much. And where can people find you, Deepak?
My website, www.deepakmachanda.com. I'm helping young entrepreneurs. I'm helping high school kids, and I'm helping the new immigrants who are coming, and I'm just giving them whatever I have learned. In the last 11 years, my journey as in a profession has been very, very good. I received about 8 consecutive Consumer Choice Award, 1 Top Choice Award in 10 years. And I knew like if I could achieve it, if I could do it, anybody could do it. So I'm just making themselves comfortable that if I could, because people may not do things with their self-motivation, but when they see somebody doing it, they probably will do it. It may encourage them. So if I jump, you jump. If I could do it, you could do it.
Absolutely.
So that's the idea.
It's such a pleasure having you here. Thank you so much, and I hope you can come back and share some more about what you're doing. You're speaking tomorrow at the
York University. I'm speaking at York University to the people who are enrolled in like nuclear scientists and the doctors who just taking a bridge course to make to have those skills which can make them employable in Canada. So,
Fantastic. Well, good luck with that.
thank you very much.
Right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with some more. Welcome back, and I have the pleasure to chat with funny man, Toronto native Jay Martin here in the house.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're very handsome.
Well, you're not too bad yourself.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Shucks. You know what? You're right. I should have been your prom date.
Oh, yes, we discussed
We
that.
discussed that at the Glenn Lewis concert on Sunday.
Yes, we were at the Glenn Lewis concert, and I said, man, we were talking about high school days.
High school days, yeah.
And I asked you, how was your prom? And you were like, nah.
Let's not go there.
Really? An area you don't want to cross. But yeah, I had a rough prom night myself.
Really?
So,
You want to talk about it?
if I talk about it, I might have to kill somebody. But no, really, I think we've had a similar night. It never turns out. The prom night ever turn out the way you think it's
Did
gonna?
anyone have an awesome prom night in the audience?
Well, some of you
Okay,
did.
most of the audience
Well, we
did.
should have went to high school with them.
I think so.
But yeah, my prom night wasn't expected. The date I went out with wasn't the one I should have selected because apparently she seemed to have a thing for my best friend. Yeah, too
Ouch.
soon? Yeah, so and there I was thought I should have been a gentleman. And I'm not trying to get the ladies in the audience to feel sorry for me, but I was being a gentleman. You know what I mean? I was doing it up, and she wanted the bad boys. You girls like the bad boys?
No.
Well, back then they wanted the bad boys, so because the bad boy had my lady that night, I didn't do. But other than that, it was a great experience. I love my high school experience. It was great. It was fantastic.
Where'd you go to high school?
I went to high school in this little town of Malton. They call it MA. It was a great school, Morning Star. I went there, and it was really fun. My high school days, I was treated really well, and it was the molding of where the comedic side of me came out.
Yes.
So, if those who know my history, I lost my mom to cancer in high school, and it was weird because during those times of depression, I found that people kind of alienated me. And I wanted to be a part of the group, so I would say things and they would laugh and they would get closer, and it was contagious, and I kept doing it. And that's where the comedian side came out of. So I really love my high school days. Even though it was a sad time in the beginning, it kind of molded me to the person that I am today.
Fantastic. So, do you remember your first comedy gig?
I do. My first comedy gig, well, I kind of put it in 2 parts. My first comedy gig was a friend said, "You're funny, and I'm going to bring a bunch of friends out and do a private gig." It was a nice, intimate setting like this, and I made friends and family laugh for about 40 minutes. But it wasn't a test of my talent. I performed at the York Event Theater, which on that night was my first public show, and Russell Peters hosted it.
Right.
And I'll never forget it because I did some Indian stuff, and I got a standing ovation, and he was like, "I'm taking you on the road with me, and I'm taking you to Montreal." And the funny thing is I called him every day to the day of the show, and he never answered the phone once. But he took me to Montreal, and that started the career. I ended up performing my second show out of town, and who gets that opportunity when they first start? So
Is he on your speed dial? Like, can you call him now?
I could call him now. Will he answer? No, but I can call Russell Peters. But I do have to admit, my first 2 years of comedy, he really showed me everything and kind of gave me the golden spoon. So everyone's like, you haven't been on an open mic? I'm like, how do you open mic when you're touring with Russell? So it was fantastic.
Yeah. What's he like to work with?
He's a great guy to work with. I think for people who want to know the real side of Russell Peters, I think the most amazing thing about Russell is he has the most extraordinary memory of all time. And I know it's good because if Russell can remember black kids' names of all my daughters with little Shaniqua, Alopecia, like he remembers everything.
Wow.
And it's weird because that's the key to his comedy. It's almost a sickness. He's almost like the comedian Rain Man, so to
Are
speak.
you kidding? Like a
Because-
savant?
Yes, he can remember everything. If you say your name, where you live, where you're from, he remembers that for years to come. He's seen my daughters like 5 years ago, and he knows what age they are or how different they are, what order they
That's
go.
amazing.
It's pretty amazing.
Comes in handy with acting too, like learning the lines.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll remember that when I'm a movie star. I can remember those things.
Have you been in a movie lately?
I have not been in a movie like a box office movie. I've been a small short, but I've just written a movie.
You've written a movie?
Yes, I've written a movie, a romantic
Wow.
comedy. I'm looking at my management and saying, don't say the name yet because we can't put it out yet.
Can't put it out?
But we've written a movie,
Do
a
you have a
romantic
leading lady?
comedy. I have a couple leading ladies in the movie. It's a romantic comedy and it's a twist. It's hilarious. It should be in the Film Fest for 215. And God willing, it's out by 216. And it's going to be amazing. I'm very, very excited about it. To put something in paper and watch it come to pass is an amazing experience. So.
That's fantastic. But
Yeah.
you can't name it yet.
I can't name it yet. I can look at it like not yet. We haven't come up with a name yet. I don't want to send it out there. But it's around the ideas of perhaps a destination wedding. So it's kind of funny what happens when you go away. You know what they always say when you go out of town. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. It's hilarious.
What happens in Jamaica stays in Jamaica.
Exactly.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to that. That's going to
Totally.
be amazing.
Well, you better be there. I hope so.
Oh, I hope so too. And tell me, what other projects do you have coming up? I know you do a lot of amazing events, and you're just so naturally gifted with comedy. Like your timing, everything. You can take a situation, you can take a heckler on, and make him laugh. You know, I mean, it's really a gift.
I appreciate that, and thank you so much. And you're not bad yourself. I know to bounce the compliment back. I heard you singing today. You look good. Don't she look good? Everyone, don't she look good? You wear it well,
Yeah, I
and
have
you know
to
what I mean?
represent
You got those
you.
people that look good and then they can't talk, or they can't but you can put it together. But to answer your question truthfully, the projects I'm working on, there's a number of them.
Mm-hmm.
I've been approved for a television show. So hopefully
Wow,
I'll
congratulations! The Jay Martin Show?
Well, yes, it's a Jay Martin show, and I hope you will be a guest on my show because
I'd
I've been
love
a guest
to.
on your show. And it's a cross between some of the greats. It'll be like a cross between Fallon with Arsenio and a Canadian feel, but it's going to be live band. I'm going to show a little bit of my singing talent as well, and some skits. It's going to be pretty good. I'm looking forward to it. So, like how you're supporting my girl, please support me as well. So it should be coming out soon too.
When is that launching? Do you know?
It should be It should be out by next year.
Yeah.
Next year the show should be fully running, and the skits are going to be good. And we're gonna involve some pop culture. You know what I mean? Bring in some new things, some Twitter feeds, and I'm gonna go out there and do things. Like I'm gonna be out in the city doing comedic things, and I think that's when it's true and funny. I think today's TV's gone in that direction where they don't want someone just not doing anything. You got to be about something. So I'm gonna go get my hands dirty.
I love
You know what I
that.
mean?
I love that. Did you like that idea? Yeah. A TV show that means something, some substance.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it's gonna have some substance, and I like that. Something that has some substance.
Now, who inspired you in comedy? Like, I did a comedy skit last week about getting picked up in a reggae club.
That must have been fun.
And my culture inspires my comedy. What inspires you?
Wow, my comedy comes from so many places. I think when people think of us as comedians, you know, it's weird. It's the only job that's out there where we intend to have to prove what we do for a living. If you're a doctor, I don't go in and go, okay, open me up and prove it. Like, as a comedian, everyone wants a joke everywhere we go, and it's weird. Our comedy comes from wherever we go, and especially me, especially when I get on a plane, the weirdest things happen to me, and I have a, like you said, a gift in being able to translate that in a way of humor. Just like Seinfeld, a lot of those people inspire me. Cosby, we can go down the list of all the comedians that inspire me, but the ability to be able to get up in front of a group of people and just explain the obvious, that's what I do. Like the time when we were out, you guys will know, we had a couple hecklers that were yelling in the crowd of a Caucasian persuasion. And I realized right on the spot that Caucasian people, if you're watching and listening or here, you guys amongst us, we believe you will do anything if we bring that challenge. And I asked them to come on stage and, you know, wind up themselves, and they did. Like, they would do what you want to do. So just being able to bring that heckling and turn it around to a night that it's fun, not disrespectful, is where my comedy comes from. I just want to be real. I want when you come to the Jay Martin show, you're like, that guy kept it real. He said what he believed, and I'm not gonna offend anybody, but I want to keep it funny. Full 100. And again, our background cultures, it's hilarious. Like I just recently, if you don't mind, went to Jamaica, and the funniest experience was I was at this club called Margaritaville, where a lot of tourists go in Montego Bay.
That's in Montego Bay. Okay.
The one in Montego Bay, and it was weird because the DJ's yelling out all these places of where people are from. Who's from where? And you got people, I'm from Calgary, Nova Scotia, and they're yelling out all of the places. And it's weird because I'm standing beside a guy who's from Jamaica, and he's going, hey, look, I can get a visa to Calgary, Nova Scotia. And these girls are just screaming out where they're from, and these guys just want the visa. So it's hilarious how the jokes form on their own. And the different cultures I'm able to portray in my comedy is what makes it fun.
Well, I love watching you do what you do, and now you're taking it on another sphere, the movie world, and having your talk show. I'm proud of that.
Well, I'm following after you, so thank you for setting the benchmark, and this is a great opportunity for everyone to see what's going on, one, and two, and see the talent that's out there, because if we don't see it, I know everyone goes online and looks at their stuff, but we need to like get out and support that talent, and I don't mean just financially support them. I mean, go out there and look. Like so many people go, Jay, who else is funny? I know tons of funny people. But until you come out to a show and see them, you're just hiding behind a box and not being able to see it. So
you're a closet supporter.
Yeah, exactly. So the ability that you're giving in this platform, I appreciate. And I think to the audience, you need to give Nikki a round of applause for being able to have that.
Now I know this is unexpected, but could you humor me? Could you humor all of us and just give us a little joke?
No pressure. I don't know. I might. All right, I'm going to go with one of these new ones that I'm writing. And I guess as a comedian, you wonder, what are you working on and how do you bring out the material? Where do we test it? My comedy comes from experiences. And if I can go back to the time that you talked about our prom, when it came to finding a lady back in the day, we used to have to go through a field. I have daughters right now. My daughters have cell phones, and I wanted to be like Bill Cosby. If a guy wanted to get with one of my daughters, I'm gonna be the guy in there that's being like, "Excuse me, sir, how do you feel you can meet my daughter?" But my daughters have these locks on their phones, like they just click and it's gone, and you can't get through this code or this field. But when we were growing up, we had to call the house. You know what I'm talking about? We had to call the house. And when we called the house, it wasn't a case where you just called it, because my day, I aged myself, but when I had to call a girl's house, it was more like tick, 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 you remember? And then you'd hear Bob, Bob, Bob. You're like, oh my God. So you'd have to wait all night to call. And whenever you called a girl's house, I'd always notice that the father would always answer the phone. And that's the force field. That's the force field. You'd be like, hello, can I speak to Claudia? And he'd be like, hold on a minute. And he'd call her so rough, and you'd be scared to want to talk to her. And she'd pick up the phone, and she'd be like, I got it. But the father would never answer the phone. You just hear him breathing on the ground. And he'd never talk to you, if you notice that. He'd never talk to you. He'd always talk through his daughter to you. He'd be like, Claudia, don't you think it's too late for your man friend to be calling me at this time of night? Y'all know what I'm talking about. And that's one of the new bits I'm working on. So hopefully I can bring it into characters and I can try to hang up the phone, but he can tell we're still on it because he had a Vista 3000. All right.
The light was on.
Laughing. The light was on the phone. You're still on the phone. So that's one of the characters I'm delivering. So I hope you got a chuckle out of that.
I sure did.
It's not finished yet, but it's warming up and it should be pretty hot once it gets out of the oven, right? You liked it? A bit?
Yeah,
Good?
we loved it.
Good.
We want more J. Martin.
Yes, get more. There's big things happening. They're on the horizon. We had to take down my website because we're building it back up, taking new pictures because I recently just lost 30 pounds. Isn't that great?
How'd you do it?
I'm going to tell you, a lot of people keep asking, Jay, how'd you lose 30 pounds? It was hard to even find this outfit to come here today because everything I'm swimming in, I'm happy and thank you. What I did is I drank a lot of water before every meal. If anyone's looking, I'm not a diet guy, but I'm telling you, these 3 things I did. I drink a glass of water before every meal. I do not eat after 9 o'clock. I know they say 7, but we get hungry. I'm hungry. Who can do that? I don't eat after 9. And I done one thing which shedded the weight. It was Aquafit. I went to Aquafit every morning, and everyone in the pool is over 80. So it's funny when Mildred and Myrtle are like, you coming in the water, Jay? And they have no idea who I am, but I'm working off the weight in the water, and it's so fun because everyone who goes to the gym, I get it, there are all those gyms out there, but you're pumping weights and guys are trying to pick you up, I can imagine. In my gym, it's just Mildred, and she brings me peanut brittle, and I love it, and I work out in the water, and the weight just comes off. Yeah, something to try.
Water and aqua fitness.
Water and Aquafit, yeah.
Okay.
And don't drink oxtail gravy. That'll just So, other than that.
Not in copious amounts, anyway. Just a little bit.
I don't know.
Sauce. Yeah. Okay. Well, where can people find you?
You can. The site will be up as soon as you guys get this. I hope so, because I'm taking new pictures with the new me. www.jmartin.tv. Shout out to my management, Art Flavor, who's taking care of my business now, and I can just be funny. I'm happy with that. And just follow me on Twitter, which is J Martin Comic, and on Instagram, which is Comic J Martin.
That's right. Follow back.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. We'll be right back. Lots of water.
Recording artist. She's introducing her debut album called But Beautiful, and she's going to do her song No Moon at All. Put your hands together with me for Monica Chapman.
This is nothing like they told us of. Just to think we fell in love, and there's no moon at all. No moon at all, it's so dark. Even Fido is afraid to bark. Just to think we parked, and there's no moon at all. Should we want atmosphere for inspiration, dear? One kiss will make it clear that tonight is right and bright moonlight might interfere. No moon at all up above. This is nothing like they told us of. Just to think we fell in love, and there's no moon at all. This is nothing like they told us of. Just to think we fell in love, and there's no moon at all. Now don't you make a sound, it's so dark. Even Fido is afraid to bark. What a perfect night for love, and there's no moon at all. If you want atmosphere for inspiration, dear, one kiss will make it clear that tonight is right and bright moonlight might interfere. No moon at all up above. This is nothing like they told us of. Just to think we fell in love, and there's no moon at all. No moon at all. No, no moon at all. No moon at all. Thank you.
Monica Chapman, ladies and gentlemen, one more time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Monica Chapman, for that stellar performance. What a beautiful voice you have.
Oh, Nikki, thank you. I'm honored to be here.
Oh, wow.
Thanks for the compliment.
You sound like an angel. So tell me a little bit about your background. You are originally from Romania.
That's right.
And when did you come to Canada?
I was 9.5. We came by boat.
You came by boat?
By boat with my parents. I didn't know a word of English when I got here.
Okay. And so you settled into Canadian lifestyle, and,
Yes.
and you're married, and you have
Now I am, yeah.
You have a
I have 2
family.
beautiful
two
kids,
beautiful kids.
grown, you know.
And so when did you get into music? When did that develop?
When we got to Canada,
Okay.
we came to Canada, and my parents sensed a knack for music, a
Are
passion.
your parents musical?
They're very musical,
Okay.
yeah, but they poured it into me
Okay.
because they came from modest means in Romania, you know, wartime and so on.
So they nurtured your musical
They put
talent.
it all into me.
Okay.
Yeah, it's thanks to them.
Where did you study?
The Royal Conservatory of Music. We lived in Montreal first, so
Okay.
I had some private instruction. Then we came to Toronto and Royal Conservatory, and then university.
And that's where I studied music, in Montreal at the Royal Conservatory.
Oh,
So
cool.
we have more things in common. Okay.
Wow.
All right. So when did you get into jazz? That's not everyone can fit into the jazz genre. When did you develop that?
About 8 years ago, it was my husband. He's responsible for me being into jazz because he has a family of jazz musicians,
Okay.
and he sensed that I had a voice well suited for it. I worked hard, and here I am.
Now this is the single, But Beautiful.
It's
Monica
a
Chapman.
complete 12-track debut jazz album,
Okay.
but beautiful, produced by Bill King, and with the finest jazz musicians in Toronto.
Fantastic. And some of these are originals as well as covers.
No originals, they're all covers.
They're all covers.
This time, yes.
Okay. And the song that you performed, what was that called?
No Moon at All.
No Moon at All.
Yeah, one of my favorites.
And this is my signed copy.
Yes.
Fantastic. Now where can people get your music?
iTunes and L'Atelier Gregorian is selling them
Okay.
in Yorkville, and Song and Script, and all over.
All right.
Music stores and so on.
Who inspires you? I hear a little bit of Ella Fitzgerald.
Yes,
if I may.
you
Yeah, that's
got
one of them.
you got it down. Ella Fitzgerald, Sarah Vaughan, Cleo Lane, Nat King Cole. The list goes on.
All the legends.
Yeah, Lena Horne, I love, and Billie Holiday.
Billie Holiday. She's my
Yeah.
favorite.
She really speaks to me. Yeah.
So where can people find you? When's your next performance?
My next performance is Relish, Bar and Grill on the Danforth.
Okay.
Saturday, May 10th. That's my second show at Relish. And I was booked recently for the month of October. What's the place called? In a place called Tucci, right, Veronica? But where is it again? In Oakville. I always forget. Oakville, Brantford, Oakville. Okay. It's a lovely place.
All right.
And I got booked again at Relish. I think they like me.
They must.
Because they booked me for a third time in September for their brunch, their Sunday jazz brunch. It'll be September 14th on a Sunday.
Fantastic.
So I'm loving it.
Yeah. Well, I'm really happy for you, and that you're following your passion.
I
It's a
am.
wonderful thing.
I raised my kids, and
Now,
now I'm pursuing what I love to do, sing.
Mama got her groove back, just like me. Monica, thank you. It's been a pleasure. Come back
Pleasure's
anytime.
mine. Thank you very much, Nikki.
You're welcome. Thank you. We'll be right back.
Of the most legendary, in my opinion, performances of the night. Let's put our hands together and let's stand as we welcome our very own Nikki Clarke.
Probably something you don't know is that I love to sing, and
I have been singing since I was 12 years old. I've written a couple of songs, and I think it's time for me to come out and share that with you. So here's a song I love. I love Faith Evans. Any Faith Evans lovers out there? And it's a song called Soon As I Get Home, and it's something that I want to sing to my king, because when I get home, I want to cater to him. So I hope you like it. And I don't want to lose you. So, baby, soon as I get home, I'll make it up to you. Baby, I'll do what I gotta do. Soon as I get home, I'll make it up to you. Baby, I'll do what I gotta do. Sleepless nights and lonely days always fill my head all of the time, and all I do is think about the way you make me feel. 'Cause baby, your love is so real. Soon as I get home, I'll make it up to you. Baby, I'll do what I gotta do. Soon as I get home, I'll make it up to you. Baby, I'll do what I gotta do. If I tried to spend some time with you to make you happy, would you feel better? And if I could, for you I would be forever, forever in love. So we can make love through the night. We can hold each other tight. I can take away the
I'll make it up to you.
Baby, I'll do what I gotta do.
Soon as I get home,
I'll make it up to you. Baby, I'll do what I gotta do.
baby, if you give me just another chance, I can show you love. I promise I'll be true. You don't have to worry, 'cause I treat you right. Baby, I miss you, just wanna kiss you, hold you in my heart. Yeah, yeah.
Make it up to you.
Baby, I'll do what I gotta do.
Soon as I get home, I'll make it up to you. Baby, I'll do what I gotta do. Soon as I get home,
I'll make it up to you. Baby, I'll do what I gotta do. Soon as I get home,
I'll make it
I'll
up.
make it up to you.
Baby, I'll do what I gotta do.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for our very own Nikki Clarke.